So you're at the point in the process where you've built great rapport, you've built your relationship, you've understood the prospect, and now you're at a position where you're hopefully going to try and do some business with that prospect. So what are some of the key questions that you can ask to your prospects before you leave the session, or even maybe to finish up your meeting, that can help you close that sale and get better results? My name's James White. I'm the UK's leading prospect conversion expert, and let's take a look at some questions that you can ask your prospects to help you get better sales results and close the business that you want. So all of the questions that I'm going to share in this video, there is no particular order or importance to each one of them. You've got to sometimes decide in the situation you're working on as to which one is the best to use at that particular point in time. But all of these are questions that I encourage you to use with your prospects so you can really engage them and get to understand how they feel about using you and your service. So the first question I ask people to ask is, what will you do if you don't do this? And what you're trying to get across here is the idea of what's going to happen if you don't move ahead with what we do at the moment. What is that going to mean for you? What is it going to cause you? And you're trying to get inside the prospect's head to really see how they feel. If they say, oh, we'll just carry on as normal, then maybe you haven't hit a pain point that's big enough for them. But if you can see that as a result of not using your service, they're going to maybe go through some challenges or some issues, or they've been convinced that you can actually solve a problem for them, it's going to be a great question to lead into them and actually say, what will you do if you don't do this? It helps you really define with them what the future is going to look like, and they can then start to picture what it looks like with you or without you, and hopefully it's with you to get that sales over the line and confirmed. So another great question that I encourage my customers to use when they engage with their prospects is to say to them, what's this issue costing you in terms of time or energy? And be able to then allow the prospect to share with them what the real impact of the problem that you're solving is causing for them. When you position questions like that to people and you pause and wait for them to come back and answer it, you're really trying to get inside their head as to how big an issue or how big a problem it is that they want resolved. And be able to ask them that directly and then be able to probe beneath the answers they give is essential. So when you're thinking of engaging with the prospect at the end of the conversation and you really want to get a sense of, are they really keen to move forward with this? Ask them the question. And again, pick up on the insights that the prospect gives you. If they come back and say, I'd really like to get this moved forward, I'd really like to get this solved, then you'll know that it's something they want to do, they're keen to get resolved, and therefore you've got a real good chance of being able to move them from being a prospect to a customer. So one of the things I try and use when I engage with prospects is a simple question that I think can have a huge impact with the prospects when you're engaging with them. I ask them the question, it looks like our service could be a really good fit for your business. Would you agree? What this does is it puts the prospect into a position where they can either say, yes, I do agree, and I think we've got an opportunity to work together, or it maybe gives you an opportunity to actually see, if they say no, that you've got some further work to do to either show them why you can help them, or actually be able to answer them what it is that they're not seeing within your service that will make them think that you're the right company for them. So if you're in a position where you ask them if you're a good fit to work together and they don't agree, probe and find out why. What is it they need to see? What is it that they can't see in your solution that's going to help them? But by asking them that question, you're going to be able to understand more about how they feel. You're going to be able to understand whether they see it in the same position and way as you do. And more importantly, you're going to see if they're in a position to say, yes, I agree, which then gives you the logical step to move forward and say, well, let's get this moved forward and signed up. So a similar question to the last one that I used, but another great question that you can actually use with your prospects, especially when you're at the end of the process, you feel like you've understood them, you've explained how your service can add value to them and solve a problem, is to ask them the simple question of this. What stops you from giving us a try and moving things forward? And again, what you're asking the prospect to do there is to say, is there anything else that can stop us moving things forward and getting things moved onward so we can get the paperwork agreed and signed? But if they then say no, your logical next step is to then say, great, let's get the paperwork signed and move forward. And of course, if they then don't want to do that, it then means that they've maybe not been completely clear with you about an objection which you can then try and solve. Use that question, see the response you get, read the signs from your prospect and how they feel with it. And if you get the, yeah, I feel pretty comfortable, you know you're in great shape to work with that prospect, turn them into a customer, and then give them the service and the expectation and all the great things that you do that's going to make them an incredibly happy and referable customer. So one of the other key questions I say to my customers and people that I work with that they need to do is to really identify with their prospects what the first 3 months of working together looks like. I believe that actually when you implement a new service for a prospect or for a customer, those first 3 months are crucial towards whether they're going to stay with you for a longer period of time. When they make their buying decision, the first thing they feel after that point is, make sure I've done the right thing. I want to know that I've not made a mistake here. And so by asking them the question, what impact could having implemented our solution have for you and your business in the next 3 months? Or maybe even turn it around the other way and say, what impact would not implementing our solution have for your business? You're getting them to picture what success looks like, or maybe what the issues look like continuing for them over the next 3 months. And you can then start to get them to feel, yeah, I want to be in that position, or I don't want those problems anymore. And what you're then going to be able to do is say, great, if we can show you how we can solve that for you, would you be keen to move forward? And most of the time people will say, yeah, I feel if they feel there's a good value and a good fit for what you do, they're going to be in a better position to move things forward. So try and picture what the next 3 months looks like for the customer. Try and picture what success looks like for them, how they're going to measure you and what you do, and be in a position to then ask them, show them what it could look like by working with you, and give them the opportunity to tell you how working with you is going to affect their life and the way they operate. And if they do that, it's going to give you a great feeling of what they want. It's going to enable you to know what success looks like, and it's going to enable you both to have a clear picture in 3 months of how you can work together for a long time to come, knowing you've hit those first plans and first goals. So one of the key words that I always talk about in my 4 key words of sales is that word trust. And we all know that trust is so important within the prospect to customer relationship. If people don't trust you and trust that you can deliver on what you say you will, it's going to be a real challenge to convert them. So one of the questions that I like to ask to my prospects when they're at the end of the process and I feel like I'm ready to move them forward is to ask them this: how would it feel for you to put your trust in us to deliver this service for you? And if the answer they give is, I'm not quite sure, I'm not really sure it's right for me at the moment, you know you've still got work to do to then qualify and say, okay, great, please tell me what it is you would need to see in order to make this happen. Or what further information can I provide you that would give you that assurance? And if they see, yeah, okay, I'm prepared to trust you, you know you can then wrap up and move forward and say, great, that's appreciated, let's get things started, and I can assure you we won't let you down. So there are 6 questions that I use when I engage with prospects and I encourage my clients to use. And the key thing about sales, as I've talked about in lots of videos, is asking the right questions on a regular basis to really get inside your prospect's head. If you can build an emotional connection with them, read their signs and really understand what they're thinking and how they're operating through the questions that you ask and the continual way in which you can understand them, you're going to get much better sales results. And I hope these questions can help you turn that prospect into a customer. My name's James White. I'm the UK's leading prospect conversion expert, and I've loved sharing some ideas and thoughts with you that I know will get you better results. I'd love you to subscribe to the channel, and if you like the video, please share it with colleagues and friends. If you also like some of the ideas I've shared here, head on over to my website at www.jameswhite.business and sign up to receive my Saturday sales tips emails, where I'll make sure you get a sales tip in your inbox every Saturday that's going to help you get better sales results.